Exactly that, and looking for EDG to show some confidence here as they continue to plow through the split. We'll see what happens. LGD on the blue side, EDG on the red. We already get the LeBlanc ban away, the Callista as well. Some very strong picks in the meta as of late, and I do especially like the LeBlanc ban away from Scout. And you get the Renekton, Nocturne, typical bans of the meta right now from EDG.
Yep, those are the two champions who just highlighted that EDG don't really play too much of, like to stay away from those. And LGD, this is actually their big meta ban, the Thresh mark, never being known as a big Thresh player. It's actually crazy when you look at a support's match history and they have like 40 or 50 games played on other champions, but then their Thresh is at like 9. It's just something that is so atypical for a champion that is bread and butter in that role. But we look at what we have open right. We still have the Xin Zhao, we still have the Lee Sin, the Viego. There's just going to be a ton of power picks going through, and now I'm interested to see where LGD go, but heck, they don't need any time to think about it. Insta-lock in the Viego.
Yep, it's just too strong right now. You got to pick it up. Has a lot of upside, and especially those resets are awfully nice. I do want to sneak in that Akali ban for EDG. Just feel like this champion has to be banned away, or you just have to feel confident that you're going to be piloting it, because this Akali's, especially in the LPL, have been ridiculous, and now we get to see the double lock-in for EDG. They opt into the Lee Sin first of all, so a little bit more forward momentum there, and as well as the other high-profile picks that are still available in that jungle role, and the Diana comes through.
Yeah, and I think this was a very easy response for EDG. With the fact that so many power picks got left open, it actually favors red side in circumstances like this, to where you look at it for LGD, sure, you get the Viego, but I feel like this duo in particular that EDG have been able to pick up is just so strong. Scout right now, 5-0 on the Lee Sin, gonna have a ton of pressure, but Kramer going to be able to get his hands on the Ziggs. He's really been the only AD carry that's like to consistently gravitate towards his pick. They do have 2 wins on it. It's typically the type of bot laner that you are going to leave on an island. You are going to let it just farm on its own and focus more on the top side of the map, which was that win condition that we were highlighting that LGD have looked towards multiple times over the past few series.
And that's what I was going to go into, is we didn't really get to highlight it too much, but that's where we felt like LGD could find the upper hand over EDG, where the mid lane, the bot lane, super stacked for EDG, where maybe it falters a little bit more and you look towards this top side of the map, and that's where Fear and Shadow, that combination with Xie, can really thrive. I do really like that Mark gets his Leona, you know, tried and true, one of the most played champions for him. Also going to have a lot of that engage, a lot of that CC you're looking for. And the setup there with the Mega Inferno bomb from Kramer on the Ziggs is going to be super nice. I do feel like Kramer has shown some very nice gameplay on the Ziggs in the past. We do have the final lock-in, though, as the set for EDG. So a lot of set up right there, Lyric.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you don't have to wonder about too much where these flexes are going to go, because Flandre's most played champion is set at 8. He's played 1 game of Lee Sin. Vice versa, Scout has 5 games on Lee Sin and has no games on set. So we can very confidently say it's probably going to be Scout on the Lee Sin and Flandre on the set. Now looking towards what EDG can pick up next. I mean, LGD have shown both of their bottom laners, so it's not too big of a deal, kind of whichever one you go with first in terms of counter picks. I feel like there is more area to change the direction of your composition depending on the support pickup. So I wouldn't even mind to just see something like a Varus come out here for the side of EDG, where it's a champion that can actually farm quite well against these Ziggs. It's something we've seen multiple times so far. I don't know if EDG, you wonder in your mind at all if there's a possible like flex of Ziggs to the mid lane. I doubt that's possible. It's probably going to be Xie picking up the Viego, but who knows what's actually going through EDG's head in this moment. Well,
and you see the direction at least that they want to go towards with the final phase here, with that Xin Zhao Sylas ban on side of EDG. Very focused, at least Shadow trying to get away from the tools that he could potentially be picking up, and then also taking away Xie Sylas is huge. The other side, more meta bans away. Gwen, I feel like, is super strong. Lulu as well. We do get the Camille locked in for LGD, as the Kaisa had been already picked up for EDG as they wait for their counter pick. I absolutely love the Camille here. Does change things up just a little bit. A lot more forward momentum, a lot more dueling and skirmishing power. But LGD setting up for some fisticuffs here.
Okay, well, okay, they hold it through to the last second. Yep. I could have sworn maybe they were going to go towards something new, but they're going to go back to that Rumble pick. They don't care about the nerfs coming out to the W this patch. It seems like they rely on Shadow too heavily. And now for EDG, looks like they might give us a bit of a swap. We thought, hey, it was going to be that set going into the top lane. Mako shown before it is a champion that he is able to play, hasn't picked it up yet this split, but is going to take it this game. We get that traditional counter coming out in the top lane. I mean, we've had it a few times this split. We did see Bin played against Qingtian yesterday, and Qingtian did not have the best time on the Jax against the Camille matchup, which, you know, should be slightly favored. Flandre today hopefully going to have a better performance, but for EDG, I think this composition is something that they've done well on so many times so far this split. I feel like Scout has been a top 2 Lee Sin player so far. I know it's hard to say with people like Knight and Doinby also having amazing Lee Sins, but I feel like Doinby and Scout have just been so exceptionally good. Like I said, Scout has picked this up 5 times so far, 5-0 on the champion. Lots of all-in on the side of EDG. Super good in skirmishes. Probably going to transition into that 1-4 later on to allow for the Jax to bully out the Camille because he does outscale in the matchup.
Yeah, that's what I just feel like EDG got all set up here with the picks that they want. I do feel like there's a little bit of execution margin that they need to hit in the early game, especially for JJ, and being able to get the Diana ahead unlocks everything else around the map. And for LGD, the eyes are still on Shadow, right? You get this Rumble, maybe not necessarily the most high profile pick right now, kind of fallen out in the eyes of some junglers, but still very strong, and especially in the hands of Shadow, who can set up the rest of his team, right? You do have this Camille going into the counter matchup. How are you going to play with that? Where do you seed pressure? Where do you put pressure for LGD? And I think that's going to be the biggest question going early on into this game, and especially where the jungle pathing is going to lead us.
I mean, Mazel, if we completely ignore context, Rumble is 100% win rate in LPL on 11.13. You don't need to ask me how many games. You don't need to ask me anything else about that. Just 100% win rate. You know, we're going to use results-based analysis and say he's a great champion. Why are more teams not picking him? No, but like you were saying, Shadow getting back onto Comfort is something that will be good for the side of for LGD. You have the 80 soul laners, you have your jungler on something that can carry, you have your bot lane on something that is safe. This feels like it could be a winning formula for LGD to find that upset.
As we kick off week number 6 here in the LPL 2021 Summer Split, we've got LGD taking on EDG. Game number 1 starts now. As we get to see the wonderful crowd go through. I know, man. One of these days, I'm going to get myself one of those light up boards, and I'm just going to have it, and I'm going to be so happy. One day, I promise you, Lyric. Maybe I'll even put your name on there.
I was just going to ask you which team would it be for, but I mean...
Team Lyric.
You know, okay. You know, I was thinking about buying into LPL next year if there was another slot, but, you know, we're getting some action, so we can't talk about my ambitions, as we actually aren't. Just... Mako going to stand on that brush. I think he was hoping that Kramer would be the one walking through and then he could find that all in. Wasn't able to do so. When we do look at the top side, we instantly go right back to bot. Two Summers being forced out from the side of LGD.
Yeah, we do have a cleanse from Viper burned away, but it's going to be huge for the bottom lane of EDG. They're going to have a lot of pressure down there, although Shadow is down just in case some emergency bandaging needs to be put down. I really like the early aggression coming out from EDG.
Yeah, and for EDG, this was something that me and you talked about earlier in the day before coming on broadcast that we thought could be the case, right? Is that for LGD, it doesn't feel like they have the greatest laners, as we are going to get a replay and just Mako finding the flash right onto Kramer. Right, that's been the telegraph thing with when you have the set pick, because you are going to take the Hex Flash. You can just look for the aggressive flash level 1. It is worth it if you are able to blow the flash on the opposite side for the enemy AD carry. It's something we've seen other teams be able to play around. I think Ultra Prime were one.
Oh, Xia's in some trouble. Xia's gonna go down. First blood for Scout.
And I'll be honest, Mazel, I don't know how that happens where, again, she is holding on to Flash for so long, doesn't expect or respect the damage able to come out from Scout, and Scout just makes it look easy. It's going back to that point about the laning phases for LGD just not really being there, and that's why we've had to highlight Shadow so heavily this split, because he's really been the one to glue it together for LGD, but that just shouldn't have happened.
And that is extremely frightening for what EDG can do with the early game now. Now that you have Scout with an early kill on the Lee Sin, you feel confident on that pick. Confidence on a Lee Sin is a very, very steep slope for the enemy, but LGD want to punish. Shadow is showing up in mid, not necessarily going to have the gank of his dreams, but does have a lot of damage on the Scout. He's just going to take the full front of that. Now we have TP coming to the bot side. Fearness trying to make something happen down here as Mako with some alcove gameplay, able to survive for a little bit longer, but going to eventually go down to Fearness, who picks up the kill for LGD. Now it's tied up.
Yeah, you can see right there, right? LGD were trying to make sure that Fearness got the kill. He invested resources into going into the bottom side anyway. If he didn't pick up something, he could have lost a lot from this wave that Flandre is crashing right now. You also know he set up to be more of a carry than someone like Kramer on the Ziggs, who's pretty much going to be left to his own devices, just clearing waves. Not too big of a deal if you do get the Ziggs ahead or if he does fall a bit behind. So I like what LGD did in that one. Still, Fearness is going to lose out in CS. He's already been falling behind so far just from, the outright 1v1. Is ahead in gold from that kill, but we're coming right back onto the map, and it looks like she might be overextended.
GA's in some trouble here. Mako has found him out. A nice face breaker is going to bring him back, but a flash from Mark into the engage now. Maybe not going to follow that one up, as he did have JJ joining up. 3 members of EDG in the mid lane. Does get backed off of from EDG, though, as LGD were able to find a responsive play to it.
Yeah, so LGD, she not looking to respect that play, expecting it to come right. Mako goes down in bot lane. Coming out from base with where the wave is bot, Mako should be looking to use his tempo to make a move on mid lane. Shea feeling like he didn't have to respect it because he also had Mark coming from base as well and didn't really need any backup. So now both teams going to transition back into that bottom side. I think for JJ, you're probably going to look to start clearing out some vision. We do see that control ward on Dragon right now for LGD. Fearness, though, looking for the trade.
A lot of damages. Flandre, though, with the Ignite burning down. Going to be a couple Summoner spells burned on the top side of the map, with Flandre having burned his flash as well. Meanwhile, EDG are taking the first Dragon of the game with the priority they were able to gain. That will be a nice neutral objective.
And this actually might be the way for LGD going forward. You hit it on it in draft, that it was something we touched on a little bit, but for LGD, attacking the top side, and Flandre right now going to get attacked as we speak.
No flash available. They know that. They want to go for it. The counter-strike actually lands on the Shadow, and Flandre wants to get the outplay here. He gets the kill. My goodness, is he going to get the double? That's a double for the Jacks. No way. Oh my God, Flandre. We set it up as we thought that was where LGD could attack. You can't attack that.
Flandre gets the least resources on Edward Gaming, really getting almost no jungle attention from the team, but still able to outplay that dive. He got the counter pick. It was looking a bit volatile, but LGD funneling in one by one, giving Flandre the chance to pick up those kills. And this is pretty much a repeat performance of what we saw from LGD in their last series.
And that's just an unfortunate overstep from Shadow. Just one footstep into the counter-strike, just a little bit too far at the wrong moment, thinking he was already cast, and there it is. As you get to see the replay of it, that's just crazy.
It's also so weird because, right, Fearness goes in, he was the one tanking aggro the whole time, leaves, drops aggro, re-engages with the hook shot, wall shot, where he immediately has to disengage once again because Shadow was never in range to tank aggro.
Yeah.
So pretty much the whole time, Fearness wasn't even able to contribute any damage to the dive. It was just all the damage coming from Rumble because they misjuggled the aggro and misjuggled how the dive should have been executed.
And now you have a Phage and a Sheen for Flandre on the Jags. Very scary stuff, as we're actually going to get a little replay of what happened in bot lane. We got to see actually a lot traded back and forth. That's where the Mako's Ignite went. And a little bit chaos across the Rift in 8 minutes. It's been a lot more fighting than 4 kills across.
And I'm really surprised, right? When you think of EDG, you don't think of this much early aggression coming out. Mako and JJ, though, grouping up, still looking for more. We are at that 8-minute mark where Herald has spawned, and they're going to try and get Flandre once again, but I don't think you're taking this man down.
Oh, Mark barely misses the Zenith Blade there, and Flandre honestly probably wanted to continue to take that fight, but does actually have the rest of his team actually coming up to join him. You know, we get the continued ADC island down in bot lane between Kramer and Viper. The equalizer is actually going to be used by Shadow, and they want to go for the fight here as Shie is there as well. Big hook shot across from Fearness. They do also get the Hex Deck ultimatum, but big moonfall, it's not in time. EDG have routed them now, though, and Flandre is the one you got to be careful of. Flandre and Scout, they've already gotten a couple kills here as the Counter-Strike's going to come through as well, and Flandre wants to get even more with the backup of Scout. Mega Inferno Bomb comes out, but that's another kill to Scout.
And it's one of those things where LGD invested so many resources in being able to find that first kill onto JJ, but they didn't really burst him down like they needed to, right? We saw the equalizer come out early, EDG just immediately backing off from that, funneling into their own jungle, which pulls LGD even further out. We see things like the Heartbreaker invested, Hextech Ultimatum comes out, and it gives time for the follow-up from members like Flandre to come out. We're going to see here, right? Equalizer really doing no damage. That is your big damage ability at this point in time. Sure, Fearness is able to find his way in, but even JJ following up with the Moonfall.
Yeah.
And then you're all funneled together. You're all too far forward, and it lets the damage members like Flandre, who has gotten so big up in top lane, be able to follow through to pick up the rest of these kills.
The satchel charge into the jump range feels bad for Kramer. Does actually end up giving over teammates' life, but we'll see the comeback here as Mark is the bastion in the mid lane against the oppression that EDG is trying to put on. They do have 7 kills to 2, about a 3,000 gold lead just over the 10-minute mark. And with the Rift Herald up, you know EDG's eyes are on the neutral objectives.
But LGD don't want to give it up. They have so many ultimates down, though. They're still looking for the engage.
A little bit misstepping on that with the equalizer combo of Mark CC2, but not going to get anything from it. Mako about half health from that, so not too shabby, but he is a set, has a ton of regeneration, and EDG feel confident enough to go right back to the Rift Herald.
Oh, and I think EDG have nothing to worry about, right? The equalizer's already down. I mean, Shie's pushing out bot. You can see where Fearness is on the wave, and Flandre is the one who has push. As they're not even going to drop waves, with Scout committing TP to the bottom side of the map. You know no objective is going to be up anytime soon other than the Dragon, which is where you're TPing, so not too big of a deal to be at a TP disadvantage right now. EDG can even pick this one up for free because LGD are in no position to look for fights. And Mazel, the thing I'm actually most afraid of is you can see LGD's comp would be able to default to this 1-3-1 position of like Ziggs, Leona, Rumble picking up waves mid, Camille Vigo on one side, but both their soul laners are the ones who've fallen so far behind, so even someone like Viego, who would be able to have an advantage, isn't able to anymore with the fact that Scout's already on a Gore Drinker.
Yeah, and I'm still worried about this 2v1 that we're hovering over in the top lane right now, just because miracles can happen when you're a 3-0 Jax with the Divine Sunder. We do have as well JJ able to pick up the second dragon of the game for EDG. Will be a Mountain Soul on the Rift, so a little bit more terrain, a little bit more hook shot viability for Fearness. But as you said, the solo laners are very far behind for LGD, and you've got to find advantages some way. We said in the draft and beforehand, execution early on is key for LGD to feel confident and to have those plays coming together. Has not been there, so now they need to recoup. They need to find the way that they can get something, because Scout is looking to 1v1 your ADC, your APC. He's getting trounced on right now, though, as Shie has TP'd, and some Alcove Gaming will leave Lee Sin just a little bit sad, as eventually, maybe not, I thought he might take that one. The reset comes out. Shie might have been a little bit worried there as the Rift Herald from EDG spawned in mid lane.
I mean, you had to dedicate 3 ultimates and a TP for that play, while EDG still have Rift Herald, which they just picked up only moments ago, so they're going to be able to drop mid, and I love the rotation they're making now. You just got control of mid lane, start making that roam up towards topside, force Fearness away or look for the kill on him. At the very least, you will be able to pick up 2 turrets from this exchange where I assume LGD should be able to pick up the one, right? They do have a Ziggs, amazing at pushing down turrets, but I don't really feel like that play was overall worth for the side of LGD.
Yeah. It just feels like EDG are pulling them around the map, right? They found where their strength is, and it's across, this Jax Lee Sin combo who have found such big advantages over their counterparts, and now Flandre continuing to find those advantages on this Jax, who is just monstrous, by the way, at this point in the game, and it's going to get worse, right? And Kramer, maybe you're not facing the Jax, but you're facing a striking Viper as he almost takes his life. Not gonna find it that time around. If Viper overextended, their shadow is there to punish, as well as actually Mark coming down. Viper is a little bit overextended here. Not gonna find the CC chain into the equalizer, and that's multiple times we've seen that combo go a bit awry.
Yes. Still, though, you were able to force out Viper summoner spells, right? I was assuming the reason why Viper didn't try to flash for Kramer was the fact that he assumed maybe members were there.
Yeah.
Maybe instead not wanting to expend it because he knows Kramer also has his own flash, but we can see in the end still overextended with the fact that Shadow and Mark are able to make that play. EDG were answering on the opposite side of the map. You can see they got a lot of deep vision down on the top side of the map, which is going to set up for the push from Jax to come in. And it's also going to allow them to dedicate resources around their bottom lane. So Flandre's going to be fine. He's going to be self-sufficient. He has the vision necessary to get ahead in this 1v1, to where we can expect this four-man core from EDG to play more together and be the ones to look for scraps, push in aggressively, get deep vision, and look for skirmishes where members like Scout and JJ can thrive.
And that's where I'm a little bit scared for LGD, because how do you, contest that? How do you fight somebody who's just barreling straight into you with this gold lead, with these advantages? It's very, very hard, because you feel like you're set up with at least the composition to a 1-3-1, or trying to find picks, trying to find things like that, but it's not necessarily working out for you. Now you've got to deal with objectives going down, those big pressure points around the map needing to be focused on. And I still think that one of the biggest things here has been, that combo of the forward momentum that EDG have found with the Jax, with the Diana, with the Lee Sin, and that they were able to find advantage early on for JJ.
Yeah, and that's the thing, Mazells. You were just asking, like, oh, is LGD, how do you find the opportunities? I'm actually not going to get the hit on that one because EDG are already looking for the engage. Mako has Showstopper.
Wait, Mark taking the upper hand here. Mako in some trouble here as well. You got TPs coming in, the dancing lights, but it's already Flandre in there with the counter-strike. Is Mark going to go down first to Viper? And now the follow-up from EDG is very, very strong. Scouts on the backside, LGD just trying to poke down, trying to keep EDG from going further in onto this fight. As they split up, do EDG move forward here as well? They do have a lot of vision coverage. They do also see where LGD are wanting to head, but it looks like it's just going to call down for now at 16 minutes in.
I mean, EDG got the kill, and not only that, they've been able to get a ton of vision into the bottom quadrant of LGD's jungle. With Dragon coming up in 20 seconds, it feels like that's the major win for the side of EDG going into this one. But Mako was posturing for the engage coming out, is able to find the showstopper, even though Mark was the one to go in first. Once again, Shadow's Equalizer not really able to find anyone. A bunch of flashes came out to avoid that Leona ultimate to not get locked down. Mark was still overextended too far in the fight. Does end up being killed by EDG, but I feel like the big win was the vision coming out for this Dragon, because as you can see right now, it doesn't look like LGD are in a response to be able to even contest.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do without getting yourself into some serious trouble there, as the third Dragon of the game will go over to EDG. Puts them on soul point of this Mountain Soul. Also, just a side point that it gives you so much moving forward in this game, gives you so many avenues forward. And speaking of avenues, they have found Kramer. Are they going to have the damage to follow it up? They do. Mega Inferno Bomb does get a decent amount back. Equalizer combo with the CC. They do find JJ, but how about the showstopper? Mako gonna go down as well. LGD have found a fight, but now they've got to deal with Flandre. Scout and Viper still alive. Flandre in the thick of everybody. Scout going in as well. Viper able to get some kills here and there, but Shie is getting resets, and Scout gets a double on the backside. It's a 2v1. Does Scout go for the miracle play? Looks like he will back off of that one, but LGD are able to strike back.
And I have no idea what EDG were doing in that play. They were funneling in one by one. That's actually what they were doing. I don't know why I said I don't know. I think we all saw what was going on there, but they just opened up the opportunity for Xie to find the resets. I think the initial pick coming out from EDG was a good idea. Scout was the one waiting. Oh, wait. Scout.
Is he gonna
maybe finds
find
one more.
him? Oh, Shadow with the nice little smite on the Gromp. Gonna get a ton of health back from him. Scout with a cheeky little play there. But it's EDG starting up that Rift Herald. Maybe they just want to go for the fight. Sorry you don't get to make your point just yet, Lyric, but I believe you might have a little bit of time.
You know, I've gotten used to not being able to make my point. And
that's the beauty of the
let's
LPL,
be honest, Mazel.
It?
The replay would set up the point so much better, but we're going to see here, EDG in the end are going to be the one to be able to take the objective. I feel like Scout at first being able to wait out the Heartbreaker resets was nice, but this was the play to set everything up. Actually, really nice satchel charge coming out from Kramer, or the kick would have come in right away. Buys enough time to get all the damage out, and now you're just so far overextended. You're in a choke. It sets up for the equalizer from Shadow. Those are the things that have been flopping all game that haven't allowed for these teamfight wins. And then Flandre comes in a little bit late. This goes back to that funneling in one by one that we were hitting on. You're just going to open once again for the reset to come out. Hextech Ultimatum was still up for the Camille as well. Now Xie able to take over Jax, get another reset onto Viper, and Scout being the saving grace in the end by picking up those other 2 kills. But a fight like that shouldn't happen when EDG was about 6k gold ahead at that point in time.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, it was that close because of the lead that they had going into that fight. Flandre just kind of forcing himself onto the members of LGD, but it is complete objective control here so far by EDG, and it's been actually very, very quick. I feel like, you know, 20 minutes in, we've gotten a little bit closer in the gold lead, but the map advantages, the map pressure has been in EDG's court the entire time.
And that's something that shouldn't change anytime soon, because Flandre will only get stronger in this matchup. He even has an item advantage anyway, so that's not something that really even will change throughout the game. I think for LGD, the thing you're banking on is your Viego, but TPs are coming in.
All right, well, they just wanted to go in here. We got fights across. Flandre trying to get away. Beautiful equalizer going to cut off the exit, but doesn't cut off enough. Flandre is down. JJ is very close. He's going to get engaged by Mark, and he's down as well as Shadow. LGD have found the fight, but have they found the rest of it? Big moves from Viper, big moves from Scout as well. Mako not gonna find the flash, but Scout gonna find the kill. And there's only 2 members left. Scout's gonna hunt down one of them. And Xie, the last one alive for LGD.
And these fights are so back and forth. Viper finding a way to turn that one around immediately, but then Scout being able to come in, finish off a lot of low health targets. He's still full HP. Xie is low. He wants to find this.
He does. He's so quick. Ooh. He's so mobile. They have the TP behind now.
Xie can't get away.
Xie trying to break some ankles, but can't do it. Oh, or does he? The ward hop's available for Scout, though. A lot of healing from Xie, but he's going to be brought down to the dirt and ruined himself. Scout gets another kill. The man is 10-1 on this Lee Sin. What a performance.
He's been the most consistent mid-lane Lee Sin performer in the LPL. Maybe not having the same highs as someone like Duinby did on the champion, but he's the one picking it up all the time. But LGD, they don't want to give over this Baron. They have a ton of AoE damage between the bomb on Ziggs and then the equalizer.
A lot of damage from the equalizer, actually. See the follow-up here. Flandre is very, very low. It's actually going to go down. Fearness able to get the body in there to be the separation. Shadow on the side with the moonfall on top of it. Fearness is going to find a kill, but is it going to be the turnaround? Look at Kramer. He's untouched, but Viper is too, and Viper gets the kill onto Mark. Again, only stragglers left for LGD as EDG are able to clean some up.
And now for EDG, they're not going to get the soul that was guaranteed theirs, right? Xie is up. He's going to make his way down. Kramer and Xie should have an easy time doing this. With neither of your soul laners up with TP, you're just not going to be able to contest. And it seems like EDG just woke up today and were like, hey, you know, our last 2 series have been a little bit too clean. We got to bring back a messy one and, you know, let the fans remember who we are, that we can disappoint you at any time. As we're going to go back pretty far, actually, to this exchange towards the bottom side. This was the one where Scout finds his way in and starts it all off. A few good kills coming out. Once again, a really good equalizer position to set everything up. But like you're saying, the healing coming out, Viper finding his way in, and then Scout able to finish off all the low health bar targets on the side of LGD, which turns into the Baron, which turns into a bunch of shenanigans, and now LGD have their first dragon.
They do. I just have to give another shout out to the Pro View. I love Pro View, first of all. I love being able to see the minds of these incredible players, but especially Scout right there, where you know he's feeling good on the Lee Sin, and you just see it be played out there right in front of his very eyes. I love it. And EDG are not relenting. Maybe they've given a couple fights over it that they probably shouldn't have to LGD, but they are continuing to press up on these towers, on these objectives, so LGD trying to punish them for it.
And this comp is just getting more interesting the longer the game goes on, because right as more items are coming through, they're not going to be at as much of deficits anymore. They're kind of closing that gold lead. You're just seeing them use the Ziggs and Rumble ultimates to get health bars extremely low, and then you have a champion like Viego to find resets on already low health bar targets. So I think it's actually a really clever draft coming out from the side in LGD of how it's used. It's just all about if they're able to find the targets with those big AoE ultimates, right? Yeah. Early on in the game, the answer was consistently no. We've seen LGD this time taking fights typically in their jungle, in choke points, to where they are able to get it. At this point in time, I think for EDG, you want to take fights in lanes, in the open, where you can bait out some of those abilities and very easily kite them out. For LGD, it's all about finding fights in the jungle. But hey, EDG just might give it to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say Shadow has definitely gotten some target acquisition there on his ultimates, and especially because, as you were saying, you know, EDG has been picking a ton of fights in these alcoves, in these contested areas in the jungle, and I want to see what happens when we do get the reset here from EDG as they're all coming out from the base. We have a little bit of a vision game being played here. LGD finally feeling confident enough to move up and get some of this vision around the Baron Pit. Make sure that, you know, just in case things go down, the Baron Pit is at least has some vision around it, because you've got to deal with, you know, a Mountain Soul potentially for EDG coming up in 2.5 minutes, and they don't necessarily have to, you know, fight over it, have to go over it. They can give that up. They can give over moments of pressure like that because of the lead that they've accrued for themselves.
Yeah, and you know, like you're saying, they feel fine trading maybe short-term gains because they already do have such an advantage to keep their tempo up to set up more plays in the future, and it's something they've done really well at. We still don't have a dragon for 2 minutes, so EDG are just going to keep playing around this top half of the map, utilizing their split push pressure coming out from Flandre, who his TP is about to come back up, so you're really going to get the most out of your pressure. You do want to wait for LGD soul laners to show on the wave, though, because you know that play from Viego and Camille can always come out where Hextech Ultimatum from Camille sets up from the damage from Viego. You don't have to worry about the enemy team burning Baron because both your soul laners have TP. So Flandre backing up, reset's going to come out. I feel like we're just going to slowly waddle our way into the eventual dragon fight as usual.
Yeah, I think it's just a little bit of cheeky gameplay coming up from EDG, just in case they wanted to go for it or there was any kind of tussling to be had over the top side of the map. Something that I want to dive back into, and something that, you know, we highlighted a lot at the beginning of the match, and now that we're getting a little bit further along, I want to kind of check back in, is, you know, Fearness actually on this Camille is keeping up in gold, doing pretty well with the catch-outs and things like that. I feel like even into the counter matchup, he's been having a pretty good performance for LGD, and has been one of the saving graces along with the rest of the team kind of coming together right now, seemingly at least.
Especially someone who fell behind early on, right?
Yeah.
He's done a good job of like utilizing his Hextech Ultimatum on priority targets, but EDG actually going to be spotted out by the Scryer's Orb, so not going to be able to be as cheeky as they wanted. The person we need to keep our eyes on, though, is Scout. He's the big member of EDG.
Yeah.
He's been the one consistently finding flanks or finding ways into team fights. He was waiting in topside river for a little bit. I think he was hoping for LGD to contest mid-wave, but has made his way towards the team now.
All right, LGD looking to move in here, get some vision down, and clear some out. Satchel Charge going to set up a little bit more. They want to go further in as Shie. Let's kind of dash forward a little bit. Wants to actually, I feel like they want to set up in that river fight with the equalizer, but they're actually going to pull the trigger on the other side of it. The CC is not going to be there, but Viper's very, very low for it. The rest of EDG going to have to back away. They no longer really have their ADC unless a Killer Instinct can change the tide of the fight. They are split as well. LGD moving into the pit here, into the pit area as EDG maybe actually looking for the flank with Mako. You have a beautiful setup with the showstopper, Flandre following him up as well. There's the counter-strike. They're getting the multi-engage here. Viper's in with the killer instinct. Viper's got Kramer. He goes golden. Big face breaker as well. And EDG are looking to take it all the way. Big damage coming out from the carries, but you've still got to deal with Fearness, and you've still got to deal with Chie. Fearness gonna get dropped down here by Scout, who is just so mobile. He gets the kill on Mako. So the turnaround actually happens, and Fearness was able to pull a miracle out of the hat there. Scout eventually brings him down, and the Dragon will also go over to EDG, but LGD need to find scraps where they can get it.
I mean, for LGD, both their soul laners pulled through in the end. Chie, I think, was the one who flashed in, found the reset on the Viper, and was able to help pick up some of those kills on the side of EDG. And then Fearness with the play that you just highlighted. We're going to instantly get into the replay. I'm surprised that this was so close. It wasn't one-sided for LGD, for the fact that Viper got chunked out so early on. Flandre being the one to start it off, and it looks like kind of sacrifices his life to find the engage for EDG. Chie gets the reset on that. Really nice face breaker from Mako, though, to set a lot of damage up, especially coming from the side of Scout. And this is where they want to keep chasing down Fearness. They're going to realize that Chie is also on the Dragon, so JJ turns around. Fearness keeps going. I want to see how he gets his kill. Just the prop from the Q. Just the Q having enough damage. Yep. Yeah, and Scout's still going to be able to follow up and get the kill in the end with his flash, but man, just the solo laners of EDG and LGD right now doing so much damage. It feels like Viper as well, I'd say, being the main one to step up in the mid game, as Flandre has defaulted into more of an engager, which is kind of weird that you pick Jax and you've just turned more into this main engage source for your team. But hey, it's Flandre, it's EDG. I'm not really going to question it. For LGD, though, Fearness and Chie being the big ones to step up. But the Rumble and Ziggs combo, I think, has been cheeky every time I see it, getting members extremely low. Flandre, gotta calm down.
Moves himself. They're going to start up the Baron here. Viper's on that 4-item spike as well. They have a ton of damage as LGD now coming in. The Equalizer goes down. By a little bit of time here, a little bit of damage. Mako goes for the engage. Flandre there as well. The Baron is already gone, as EDG have gotten it. They will lose a member for it, though, as Mako will no longer be dressed in purple, and LGD get a response.
Yeah, and LGD are at least going to be able to take this outer turret mid. They should even be able to get some more damage down onto this inner turret. But with Baron minions coming, EDG gonna do fine. Also utilizing side lane pressure right now with Scout. He is pushing out that top wave. And even if you look towards the bottom wave, LGD do have minions that they are going to need to respond to. So for LGD, we just want to see some resets come out, get their side lanes in order. You're gonna have to group, you're gonna have to counteract a lot of the deep vision that EDG will be able to set up with the push that they will have from Baron minions. And you're just gonna wait out this initial timer coming out from the Baron push. And we're probably going to get to see that 3-minute and 30-second Elder fight coming out would be my guess. That's probably where this game will be decided, Mazel.
Couldn't ask for a better way to kick off the night here with you, Lyric. I am just so excited to see the potential Elder Dragon on our first game, but it's crazy that we've gotten to this point, right? But I kind of want to do a little bit of a recap, because EDG were so dominant for the entirety of the first half of this game, right? And then they started taking those confidence plays, those confidence fights, those overextensions, and LGD were able to punish with a lot of nicely calculated ultimate combinations that we had seen set up from their draft at the very beginning of this, and finally it coming to fruition.
It's just one thing that their combos very punishing for the side of LGD, right? Like, you have so many good ultimates, so many resets, you have a great Wombo combo coming out, and it's really that one overstep by EDG at Rift Herald where they opened up all the damage to come out. LGD closed the gold gap, and ever since then we've seen the consistent comboing of AoE damage to set up for primarily the Viego, even Fearness stepping up, has really been a thorn in EDG's side.
Oh, EDG, speaking about being a thorn, they're trying to be a thorn in the base of LGD. They've already gotten Chie, but can LGD get a response here as well? Mark going low, but not going to go down. Neither does Scout. Flandre is getting the bot tower this whole time, and they've still got the Baron buff. They've still got Baron minions here as well. They could go for this inhib. Would be a huge pressure point, as they are already going to look to get 2 actually off the back of these plays, as Viper was pushing mid lane as well. There goes 1, there goes 2, and there goes LGD's base, and a lot of flooding minions coming into that mid and bot lane.
Yeah, and LGD not going to be able to find anything off the back of that one, just smart clearing some vision. And you know, when Fearness found that engage after Shea went down, I thought maybe that would have been a good opportunity for LGD to be able to clean more of it up. We're actually going to get the original replay of how Shea goes down. Scout finding his way in, is able to kick him out, and really nice combo with Viper coming in with the killer instinct as well. They get the kill. Here we were going to see that Fearness was going to go in. I'm surprised he didn't just all in on top of Scout, get the 1-for-1 trade and feel more comfortable going for the fight. But I guess with your Viego being down, the whole combo and crutch of your composition is built on, hey, we have this ton of AoE coming out at first, and then our DPS, our consistent damage, is coming out from both Camille and Viego. So if you lose even one of those consistent DPSers, it feels like your combo's a lot stronger, rather than if someone like a Ziggs or a Rumble went down and you're just missing out on some of that initial burst.
Yeah, and I feel like we're teetering right on the edge at this point, right? EDG definitely putting a lot of pressure into the top lane right now. Want to get that third inhib, want to get the double super minions through the lanes. But if they take one more fight, if they get one more catch out, that's also just game. The timers are so long right now. They've got so much pressure in the base. They've also got the Elder Dragon coming up in 30 seconds. And LGD just have to pick and choose their battles, but the battles are getting harder to pick and choose.
I mean, luckily for LGD, I think this is actually the easiest pick and choose point of the game for them, in the sense that earlier it's very hard, like, hey, you know, we're a bit behind in terms of items or these power spikes, what do we do? Now, Elder's up. You don't have to make a choice. You have to fight for him, Zelda. There really is no option for LGD here, as they are looking for the picks. Oh, but look at Scout on the mini-map. He's actually finding a pretty good flank angle.
He is. The Flandre is going in as well. They've got the kicks available. They don't even need the damage already there, as that's already Fearness down. The follow-up is here. The Wolves smell blood, and EDG are into the base of LGD, as the health bars actually get a nice chunk from that Mega Inferno bomb, but does it really matter? The tree falls in the woods and nobody is there to hear it. Doesn't really make any noise. EDG have made some noise with this first game. We wanted execution, we wanted dominance, and EDG have given us that.
Yeah, this was a bit of a rocky performance from EDG. I think, you know, they came out from draft. You can see that they're very happy with the picks they got. They got a ton of, I'd say, comfort picks across the board for their players. I think especially Scout on the Lee Sin. Easy to say in hindsight, but